What's happening, MJ traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Gold. Today's Thursday. It's July 7th. Hope you're having an absolute fantastic day so far. In this short video, going to introduce you to what I call the Green Dream Team, which is comprised of Tilray, Aphria, HEXO, and Redecan. If you would have told me 2 or 3 years ago that this is what would have happened and transpired, all these companies working together, I would have told you were crazy or out to lunch. There's no way that would happen. No way you would convince them all to work together, and it would be borderline unfair. But fast forward to today, and here we are, and I'm just super grateful to be experiencing this with you all, going through MJ legalization and this fantastic industry that we have on hand, and this opportunity that we have at our fingertips. So again, very, very grateful to be going through it with all of you, and got a lot of important things and valuable information I want to share with you guys today. Before we get to it though, if you could smash the like, help support me in the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. You can, if you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos. There's an article here. This isn't new by any means. It's from the Motley Fool. It's a little over a year old, but this came just shortly after the Tilray and Aphria merger, and it talks about, did Hexo just outmaneuver Tilray after the Redecan merger? And it talks about how when Tilray and Aphria merged, Tilray's shares skyrocketed about 150%. Also, Aphria hit new all-time highs right before that as well. And when all MJ was running into February 2021, Aphria was one of the ones that was breaking into new all-time highs, while a lot of other MJ was lagging. I think that the next bull market, we're going to see pretty much all MJ enter new all-time highs and price discoveries after this massive bear market. We've essentially had 2 bear markets in the last 4 years, and I do think that it's coming to an end. Eventually, you know, we're down 95 to 98% on some MJ names at all-time lows or 52-week lows, and it's just a matter of time before the tide turns. And like I said, I think the next bull market is going to be epic and the biggest yet for the MJ space. But essentially, it goes on to say that they weren't the only companies making deals. Hexo announced a week before this article that they plan to acquire privately owned LP Redecan. And did they just outmaneuver Tilray? They talk about who's number one. Right, they would have had, back then it was pro forma rated at 17.3% of Canadian retail MJ market between Tilray and Aphria. Right now we know that Hexo is actually number one. And it goes on to talk about they might not last very long though, because Hexo was previously stated as its goal was to become a top 3 player. And the goal was achieved, right? And I think that, you know, we know that there was a competing offer for Redecan as well. I think it was Tilray. We know Tilray tried to buy Hexo in November 2021 for $2 to $3 a share. Hexo turned them down, and they were chasing Hexo for months, right? And this is all after they acquired Redecan. So I think Redecan is why they wanted it so bad. And again, I think that Tilray was the one who competed and offered $1.4 billion, and Redecan turned it down and went with Hexo. And that likely had to do with the fact that, you know, Hexo is going to give them $400 million in cash plus $525 million in stock, which was $925 million total. And the $1.4 billion that was offered by Tilray probably would have been more stock, if not, you know, a majority of stock, if not all in stock, right? And I think that Redecan made the best decision, but obviously that tells me that Redecan is very confident in Hexo for the long term. And then it just goes on for some challenges and things like that. But fast forward to today, and like I said, we've got Hexo here at number 1 in terms of rec sales. This is for the month of April. And we know that, you know, the companies all working together as part of this new deal, it's going to be absolutely, you know, it's going to be crushing for some LPs, right? It's going to be hard for a lot of the smaller individual LPs to keep up, right? We have over 800 licensed producers now in Canada. So MJ companies in Canada, we don't need that many, right? We know that consolidation was needed, and that is why, in my opinion, all of these companies, Aphria, Tilray, HEXO, Redecan, Zenabis, 48 North, all working together is because of the fact that we have that oversaturation, and it's just not needed. That we don't need 800 licensed producers, right? And this BNN article or video, I guess, if you haven't seen this, I highly encourage to go check it out. I actually did a video on it here, and I said eventually Tilray merging with HEXO. That was a really, really good video, and I go over and I break down my thoughts and opinions. I stop, I pause it, and I note some of my thoughts and what I think could happen in the future with the two companies. Like Tilray said, they're in a good position to do nothing, collect interest, or eventually convert into equity and look at maybe putting the two companies together, right? They even reference Microsoft saving Apple from bankruptcy in 1997. So really encourage you to check out that video that I did, just going over that and breaking that down, picking it apart. But something that I posted on Twitter here today was what it means for, and we were talking about this in the POW Group private community amongst private POW Group members, what it means for Tilray as part of this Hexo deal. What does it mean for Hexo? We'll start there. Hexo had debt issues. That wasn't anything that wasn't new information. That wasn't anything we didn't already know. But I do think that it was a type of poison pill that was issued in order to fight off a potential hostile takeover, that convertible debt that they used to fund the Redecan purchase, right? And you can't just buy, 3 companies and spend over $1 billion without having some cash and debt issues, right? It's something that we should have saw coming, and a lot of us did, but a lot of us didn't. A lot of us didn't have a lot of us had unrealistic expectations, right? They thought that, 2 or 3 quarters, we were going to see all sunshine and rainbows. But again, when you spend over $1 billion, and Hexo, didn't have a whole lot of cash in its reserves to begin with, there was obviously going to be some challenges. And leading into the market landscape and market conditions that we had and the bear market that we endured, things got a lot worse pretty quickly, right? So the fact that Hexo's getting the debt issues resolved, they're under more favorable debt terms, and they're working with Tilray, another leading competitor, right? So essentially, you got number 1 and number 2 teaming up together. Like, good luck to the rest of the other LPs, right? And it's not just like they're getting a regular loan or debt deal through, a financial institution, right? This is going to save about $80 million between the 2 companies, and they're going to be able to work together through this commercial and financial partnership, right? And they're going to go on to shape this industry, in my opinion, and each become a top 5 global player. So I made this tweet. What exactly does it mean for Tilray? Well, like Tilray said, Irwin Simon said they can do absolutely nothing and just collect about $20 million a year in interest, or later on they can convert into equity and benefit off the share appreciation of Hexo, and then maybe at some point in the future look at putting the 2 companies together if it makes sense. And this is what I posted today. So Irwin in this video said that for every dollar, this is based on the original terms, every dollar that Hexo goes up in share price, Tilray would essentially make around $200 million off of the share appreciation. So I broke that down even further with the amendments of the deal. So Tilray, before the amended deal with Hexo, they would have made $211 million for every $1 Hexo went up in share price. How did we get to that conclusion? $180 million investment at 85-cent conversion equals 211 million shares. 211 million shares times every $1 that Hexo goes up equals $211 million for Tilray. After the amendment, though, 180 million shares at the revised conversion of 40 cents equals 450 million shares. So 450 million shares times every $1 that Hexo goes up, that's $450 million for Tilray, right? There's a huge benefit here for Hexo to go up from here. And not only Tilray, but we have Chaos Capital and Adam Arviv in the mix now as well. This is huge, right? So this is going to all parties want to see Hexo, and it's going to incentivize all these parties to want to have a vested interest and have nothing but positive outlook on Hexo, right? They want to see Hexo go up in share price, because look at what Tilray would make here, $450 million for every $1. What if Hexo went up $5, or what if they went up $10 or back to all-time highs? Pretty hard to fathom that math, right? Even $450 million is a pretty large sum of money to wrap your head around. But for every $1 it goes up, that's what Tilray is going to make, right? Like, this is obviously, the deal is more tilted toward Tilray's favor. But again, we know that Hexo was in a bit of a pinch as well. And I think it's going to be good for the both companies. And when you have number 1 and number 2 working together, it's just good luck is all I can say for the smaller companies, right? And taking a look at the market capitalization of these companies and their history, market cap of Tilray was valued at around 1.6 billion at the moment, but it was valued at around 13.38 billion at its peak there back in 2018. And you can see over time how it has grown. But essentially, we're back down to where we were in like 2016 and 2017, or even back here in 2020 in 2019 in the bear market, right? So in my opinion, there's a ton of opportunity. And then if you take into account, so 13 billion, right? And you add what Aphria was worth at one point, around 8 billion, right? You're at a little over 20 billion. And then Hexo was worth almost 2 billion, so 1.64 billion. You're almost at 25 billion. And then you factor in the $1 billion that Redecan was valued at, right? Even Tilray was going to offer them 1.4 billion. So you're looking at around $25 billion that this combined market cap potentially has the potential to reach again, right? So $25-50 billion market cap collectively amongst all of these companies is not out of the question. And just for comparison's sake, Canopy, the highest it hit was 16 billion, right? And that was the leader in the space for so long. And currently the market cap is only valued at 1.06 billion. And again, if we go back to the market leaders here, you can see that Hexo number 1 in rec sales for April, then Tilray Organigram, and then Canopy coming in at 4th, right? Just completely sliding and losing market share. You know, they had a merger with Supreme, but they've got a long road, a challenging road ahead. And it's pretty crazy to see what has transpired over the last few years, but the future looks extremely bright for all of these companies and this new entity, Tilray Brands, right, and HEXO Corp, which is essentially Redecan, Zenabis, 48 North, all on one umbrella. Personally, I don't think they're going to merge. Tilray can still control Hexo essentially, but they don't have to actually merge the two companies together. Personally, I don't think they're going to merge the companies. I think it's going to remain independent. Hexo will remain independent from Tilray. It does increase the odds that we could potentially see a merger at some point in the future. Maybe we see the companies put the two together. We know after those amendments and that the Tilray deal that got changed in more favorable terms for Tilray, that increases the odds that we could see the two companies merge together. But I'm still of the thinking that they're both going to remain independent, and a lot can happen, right? I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, but my gut is telling me that they're likely going to remain independent, and Tilray is going to really benefit off the share appreciation of Hexo, and everybody's working together, right? Everybody has the mutual interest in Hexo now, and everybody's going to benefit from Hexo going up in terms of share price. And if Tilray were to convert into equity, that convertible note, that would be more dilution for the stock and would hurt the share price, therefore limiting Tilray's potential as well as an investment opportunity into Hexo. So again, let me know in the comments below if you agree with me, disagree with me, what your thoughts are on this. And pretty crazy to fathom $450 million for every $1 they go up is pretty insane. All right, going to end it there. Hope you found value in this video today. If you could share it with anybody that may also find value. And one more time, if you could hit the like, it helps support me in the channel. Subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next update.